This is the Animated Doctor, and we're doing a show called New to Who, where we take someone who has not seen a lot of Doctor Who and try to just throw them into it and see what they think. My name is Morgan.
I'm Ben, and I am new to Who. Relatively. I think I've seen like 3 episodes before now, scattered around, of the new reboot series.
Yeah, probably not in any particular order.
Not in any particular order.
Okay. Well, the original plan was to show you like beginning of the reboot, episode 1, to go from there. But the new season just came out with the new Doctor, new companions, new showrunner. Like, well, it might as well be a good point. See if someone can come in here and see if it worked for them.
Yeah, they're resetting a few things anyway.
Yeah. So, this will have spoilers for the new episode that just came out, which was The Woman Who Fell to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Jodie Whittaker's first episode. Chris something is the showrunner. His first episode, whatever.
A lot of British people's new first episode.
So, as someone who has not seen a lot of Doctor Who, can you give me a recap of what happened?
So, and I am vaguely familiar with the premise of like the body changing or whatever and coming to birth.
The regeneration.
The regeneration. So basically, this one fella is with his grandmother and her new husband trying to learn how to ride a bike up on a hill.
Mm-hmm.
He has some sort of reason, we learn later, some sort of disorder that involves his balance or something.
I think it's like a
Coordination, something like that. So he has a reason. I don't know if they needed to give us anyway, he's got a reason for not knowing. He gets frustrated, throws his bike off apparently a tower and cliff into a forest. And then later he goes down, they get on the train. He's like, I'm going to go retrieve this bike. When he's down there, a thing pops up. And I believe, as it happened, I was like, he's not reading the fine print on this. When he clicks a button, it's like a weird light projection, and he pokes it, of course.
Yeah, did you agreement that no one ever bothers looking at?
Yeah. I would never poke a strange light in the woods.
If a button just showed up in front of you, you wouldn't press it?
Well, okay, first off, before I wouldn't, now definitely wouldn't. So he pokes it, a giant Hershey Kiss shows up. Looks like a space Hershey Kiss. It's very cold. He calls the police. They send a parking meter person for some reason because they just don't take him seriously, I guess.
If you call in about a giant
some sort of hazing.
Hershey's.
Yeah, and so she shows up. They're talking about it when he gets a call, not the police for some reason, from the grandmother who's in a train that got stopped, and there's a noodle monster on it doing electric things.
Yeah,
and the doors are locked. Everyone else ran away. So they run there. Again, no other police, just this one who happened to be in earshot when grandson was called. Yeah. So he goes. They respond. They see the noodle monster on the train. It zaps them all. We don't know what that's about. And then it shoots through the sky and runs away. Oh, in the middle of the train scene, the new Doctor shows up. We don't know. Well, I guess we do know. It is the name of the show. She launches down through the train, knocks it out for a little bit. Can't quite remember. She says the TARDIS crashed. She got thrown out. She happened to be thrown into this place. Knows she's supposed to help people. Has empty pockets. Is surprised that she's female. And then sort of takes charge of the situation. There's a brief moment where the police try to take charge, but she's like...
When you say police, you mean the
parking person. Yeah.
The one person who
what do we call that?
To this.
Yes. The one, well, first off, didn't respond, who was in earshot when someone's grandson went. And so, and I don't know if he can drive either. I'm assuming he doesn't seem to have a car.
Yeah.
Anyway, not a point. Plot point.
Yeah.
So then they're on it. They're investigating. In the meantime, it would seem that some other person has picked up the Hershey Kiss with a friend, transported it to his big technology-filled warehouse, and he was waiting. He just like set up cameras and waited. Said something about his sister. So this is out of order, but we find out. Oh, then someone comes out of that. A predator with less clicking, like a predator comes out of it and freezes his face and takes a tooth and breaks his jaw.
Yeah, like you do.
Yeah,
like a predator.
Gross. Yeah, the grossest tooth fairy ever. I think is what you called him. So then that guy dies. They're investigating. They follow Trace. They realize that the things that they were zapped with were DNA bombs to make them melt and turn into goop or something at any point.
Yeah, it melts your DNA.
It melts your DNA, which is
maybe just like
most of you, I think. Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure I'm mostly DNA.
You release a lot of it. You'd stop making proteins or something and new cells.
Yeah.
So you may actually live in horror for a little bit, just inactive. It's only because I guess your cells might still work. That's a question for the biologist. I don't know. It would certainly involve you dying.
Yeah.
So
definitely not good.
So they've been planted with bombs. They follow tracers to the bombs. They find Predator, Tooth Fairy, and he gets away.
Yeah.
And then they walk into the lab. They find the open Hershey Kiss, make deductions. This guy came out of this. They don't know why the noodle monster. They think they're dealing with two aliens. Maybe they're fighting each other. She uses all of the new doctor. What's her name?
Jodie Whittaker? Or the...
Oh, she doesn't know her name. She's just the doctor.
Yeah, that's her.
That's
doctor.
Right. Yeah. She realizes she's slowly getting her memories back, and she remembers, I can make things. So she makes a sonic screwdriver out of like this cool montage of like that includes circuitry, melting spoons, like comically hitting something with a sledgehammer. I think. Yeah. I liked it actually. I thought it was goofy and fun, and she came out with the sonic screwdriver.
I think she just made it out of stuff that was laying around.
Stuff that was laying around. Yeah.
Well, I guess there was like some alien stuff with the Hershey pod.
Sure. Yeah, I think she pulled one of those crystals out. Yeah. That's what I saw. She deduces that the Hershey pod has a return thing, so this alien came here and was going to go back. What happens next? Do they track it?
They realize that it's tracked. No, they track the squid monster, noodle monster.
They go to the noodle monster on the roof, which I guess was just doing reconnaissance for. Well, we don't know this yet, but whatever. Yeah. He was doing the squid monster is actually a bunch of little squids tied together into some super squid, and it's seeking,
like in nature,
gathering information. Just like nature does it. And they. What do? The doctor messes with it, knocks it out, gets information out of it.
Yeah, they use the screwdriver to make a hologram pop up, and they see that the target
is that guy they saw on the train.
Yeah,
who was just like, I want to go back. The most boring guy in the world. He's awesome, but he saw aliens. It was just like, I kind of just want to go back to work. I don't really care, and so he left. Yeah. So he's the target, or something. Do they track him or something?
They know where he works.
They know where he works. And so Predator tracks him there. They all meet up there. That's the part I'm missing. I remember the end, but I forget the middle part.
Yeah, well, the police lady was taking the information. I guess they looked him up. They tracked him to where he worked at the crane.
That's right.
Operation.
Yeah.
Because Ice 2 just bounces. Because he had like a short-range teleporter or
That's
something.
Right. He just teleported out of there. Okay, so then they go... At some point they realize that he is hunting that person.
Yeah. Oh, he does this.
Oh, because he shows up on the roof.
He shows up on the roof and does this exposition
monologue. He pulls off. You see his gross toothy face. I guess he's mostly killed humans or humanoid things with human teeth.
This sort of seemed like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kills people.
He had
takes
teeth,
their tooth.
So like.
And puts their teeth in his skin.
Yeah, in his face. Well, I don't know. Gross. We only see his face skin. Maybe all of his skin. Who knows?
It's gross. And can't be hygienic.
Cannot be hygienic.
Yes.
Gross. He's very cold though, so it's sort of refrigerated.
Flossing's gonna be tough now. Just
all over his face. Do you think he just dives into something and chews with all of the teeth he has available?
Like shampoo mixed with toothpaste and
brushing. Man, his teeth must take forever. So the Tooth Fairy gives an exposition about how he's going to be in charge of the hunters after he apparently hunts the most dangerous game, which is a boring crane operator. Like, I don't know, they couldn't have given him... Yeah. They said it's... First off, they said randomly chooses a human for you to go... That's how you, like, move up in this gang or whatever, is it randomly chooses a human for you to go kill.
You have to find out.
But it picked a guy and his sister out of the 6.5 billion people that live on Earth.
Yeah, they weren't correlated, though. Like, the sister was one thing, and think this guy was a separate thing.
No, that's what I'm saying is unbelievable. Is that it's randomly picking a human out of like 7. I don't know if we're up to 7 now. 7 billion people on Earth, and it happens to be a brother and a sister.
Yeah.
the brother's like waiting for it to come back. Anyway, it happens. He monologues. He's apparently cheating because you're not supposed to use technology or guns, and he says his hands are really cold, but super bright. I don't think cold gives off light like that.
Yeah.
And then he's using the noodle squid, which is illegal. So he's cheating. He's a cheater.
Yeah.
So even if we were like, inclined to be like, okay, you go, you climb that corporate ladder, he's cheating to do it. So we're doubly against him.
And the whole reason they're doing this is because the light button in the forest at the beginning was actually the user agreement.
It was like permission to come and hunt your humans.
Yeah.
Which I guess is what that... And he poked it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, just read that user agreement. Because sometimes it's permission to hunt your humans. And so...
next time we get an Apple update.
Yeah. Can't revoke it either. Verbally, at least. So they all show up at the guy's work. They've got the noodle thing covering one crane. They climb one, or the doctor and I forget their names.
The doctor
and the young people.
Yeah,
climb one, and then eventually she walks over. They get the. So this guy, I guess he did see the alien noodles on the train, but he just sees a guy climbing his thing. Here's a lady from the other train say, come over here, and then he does.
Yeah.
But the guy looks ominous. He's climbing the outside.
Oh, yeah.
Presumably there's a normal way to climb that, because that guy got up there. There's got to be stairs on the inside.
Yeah, just or like some like ladder or something.
He just chose to do it the most ominous way, which was the outside.
Well, yeah, the most direct way.
Sure. I mean, he's a hunter. You could just climb the stairs and sneak up on him, like, because you wouldn't have seen him. He can't be a good hunter, is what I'm saying. Because if he just walked up the stairs, walked up to the cab, picked him up, like, that's one thing. But he has to climb the outside, so he sees him coming. Sees him coming. That's not a good hunter move, I think,
and
right?
Cheat too.
And he was cheating.
Yeah, he shouldn't be the leader.
Couldn't even find the most boring human in the world who probably just goes between work and
listens to self-help books.
Yeah, he's scared of heights at the top of a crane. Like, that's not the hardest hunt. With a staircase that you refuse to use. But, whatever. Anyway, there's a showdown. The guy starts to jump, but Tooth Fairy grabs him. Mm-hmm. And so the doctor jumps across, just barely makes it. Mm-hmm. Says her legs are shorter. Yeah. Funny. She climbs up, has a monologue, gives him a chance to let him go. Gives him a chance. No. He says no, and he pushes the button to melt everyone with the DNA melters. But oh no, she has put those into the snake, the noodle monster, and he has downloaded the squid's essence. And so he knows all the information, and I'm assuming also the squid's feelings is what that implied to me. Because other than gathering the information from the squid, why else would he get the squid's feelings and physical shit?
Yeah, it seems weird to get information. You got his DNA. The squid DNA in him now. Which
just begs the question, what kind of information exchange was that? Because I only know one kind of human way to, transfer DNA, and so I don't know what that was. Anyway, he did it in front of everybody. It couldn't have been too bad. So that's a thing.
that's the thing.
All the point being...
He couldn't just download it over Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. He had to absorb Squid Monster's DNA to get the information.
Yeah. Point being, at some point, in the squid monster's essence has been secreted these DNA bombs. Mm-hmm. They are now in bad guy. Yeah. He pushes the button, like a lot of goop falls out of his helmet. like blood maybe.
He turned to a goopy man for a second.
So they don't show someone actually dying from this DNA bomb. So
true. I
don't know what would have happened. I'm assuming melting, but maybe it's more of a long-term thing.
Yeah, I would assume melting.
She hands him the transporter and says, go back home, you failed. Or she already did that before. And he starts melting, and then he transports out of there. Yeah. Presumably, somewhere in some galaxy, a pile of goo arrives. Because I don't... just splashes into existence. Because I think... As it's got to take some time, right? But whatever.
Presumably even back to his home planet or whatever, someone was walking around with, bloop.
I not only could not kill the great Todd, or whatever that guy's name was... the great warrior of Earth, Todd, working his crane, I failed and am been hit with multiple weapons that I brought myself illegally. They are now inside me because of my squid transaction, which is also illegal. He's got a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah, if one DNA bomb can wipe out a person, he has 5 of them in him. That can't be good.
Yeah. Secondhand, at least.
Yeah.
So then they talk about it.
The squid monster's there, though.
The squid monster's still there.
Attacking the
The great grandma. The excellent grandma. She's not great grandma. The excellent grandma. She's awesome. The interesting adventure-seeking grandma.
Yeah.
Stabs
fun
it
and charismatic.
or something. Murders it.
Yeah, I think they get a cable. Some sort of electric cable. Her husband, the grandpa dude, is like powering it up, and she's stabbing it.
That's right. Cable. They stab it. It dies. She falls. Like 10 feet. Yeah. More.
An unclear amount.
An unclear amount of distance. Not enough for squishy blood things, but enough for her to die. I thought she was joking. I really did. Because she fell and she was like, remember me. I was like, oh, this is lighthearted. It'll be funny. Whatever. Not joking. She just dies there.
Yeah. I'll say the camera makes it seem like a short distance. Because they showed the cable she was holding. They show it drop, but they don't show it from a big height. They show like a couple feet off the ground.
It's like clop. And then she falls.
And then she's laying
there. No blood. Yeah. And anyway, she
Didn't
dies. It's sad.
Mm-hmm.
They come to terms with it. They're all talking about what family they have or don't have.
Yeah, there's a funeral.
There's a funeral. They, the Gramps speaks, which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're saying goodbye. The doctor figures out a way to locate her TARDIS, through
using the transport pod that the alien came.
Yeah, sure, and transport her to that location.
Sonic screwdriver and a microwave.
Yeah, all sorts of things. So they all help her. They're all standing there. The episode closes when they all get zapped to space. Yeah. And they realize their blood is boiling, and then they die. Maybe not the doctor. I don't know her physiology, but the rest of them, their blood is definitely boiling.
They don't say as much, but the young dude is definitely like clutching at his throat.
Yeah.
Gramps sort of doing like this weird motion, like
still holding the imaginary battery that is no longer there. I think is what he's doing.
That makes sense.
So that tells us that their clothing went with them, but not what they were holding for some reason. They just didn't want to deal with the plot point of a car battery in space. So.
Yeah. And that's the end of the episode.
And that's the end. Spoilers, obviously.
Yeah. So, as someone who has not seen a lot of Doctor Who, did this episode make sense to you?
Yes, because what I did know was simply that the Doctor fixes problems with a screwdriver, comes back in different bodies, and that there's usually a monster of the week kind of thing. Yeah. And so, I think that's all I needed to know. And also, since it was a new season, there weren't characters that I was supposed to know. All these people are new, right?
Yep.
Okay, so all these people are new. So they were already, the show itself was introducing them. It felt good. It felt like
they also
a good level of cheese. Like, it's not super high graphics or anything, which I don't think it's supposed to be. It's television.
It looked good.
It looked good. I mean, yeah, it looked good.
Sort of felt like watching a movie. Maybe it's because this.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it was dark out, especially during the climax. They're doing it at night, so I felt like you're watching a movie type thing. But they definitely go out of their way to explain everything. Like, here's a screwdriver. Here's what it does. Like
everything.
Their montage. And they sort of explain the regeneration, like her cells are rebuilding, and
she's glowing at one point. Yeah. She does say, my cells rebuild, reform, or whatever. I die, and then it feels like I'm being born. So she talks about it. She references having a different body.
Yeah, I think it's the only two references I really caught to past Doctor Who, which is half an hour ago of white-haired Scotsman.
Oh yeah, she did.
Which was the actor who played the Doctor before her.
Right before her.
Yeah, and I don't know, it's not a direct reference. She used to have a family and stuff.
Yeah, I was assuming, so not knowing anything, I think I know that the Time Lord, who she is, they're all dead. Isn't she the last one?
They used to be until they made it not so.
So I assume that was what they were talking about, having not seen anything else, but just, I think maybe the one episode I saw referenced that or something. So maybe they're not so.
Yeah, that, for many years, that was the case. The whole reboot was based on this time war that happened. But then, a couple seasons ago, it was Like, oh, what if we just undid that?
I mean, I'm ensuring when time travel's in their case, you can always undo things.
Yeah.
And also, like, you couldn't just go back to the time where they were or whatever. Like, anyway, the future or whatever. I'm sure there's stuff.
Yeah, there's stuff.
Yeah. At the very least,
I was gonna make
this person's burned through a lot of companions.
so many
companions. They've loved someone.
So many dead friends.
Yeah. So they've lost people. I thought it was interesting. I liked it.
Yeah.
I would watch more.
Would you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like, sci-fi. I haven't specifically watched Doctor Who very much, but I've watched like all the Star Treks. I've watched, the new things like The Expanse, which is less goofy, but it's also sci-fi. Like I like sci-fi things.
Yeah.
And so this fits into my genres of liking.
So you do it again next week?
Yeah. I do that. Oh yeah, and at one point they have a montage where she's not wearing a tattered old suit anymore. She wears like
her new outfit.
Which I'm assuming is going to be her outfit, like a jumper with a rainbow on it, and then suspenders, and then like a long, almost lab coaty looking thing, which is kind of cool.
There's a hood on it.
Yeah,
I like her outfit.
Yeah, it's cool.
So, not really. To a lot of people on the internet, it's sort of a big deal.
That it's a woman?
Yeah. Did that make any difference to you? Having not seen much beforehand?
Having not seen much, so like I've seen like 3 episodes, so she is a quarter of the Doctors I have seen at this point. So, no, I mean I don't know. It seemed like the personality. So it's again, I haven't watched a million of them, so I don't. But I thought, I mean, to have I don't know. I mean, I thought she was a good actress. I like that it was she seemed that sort of that personality or whatever seemed to make sense. The like bumbling but also very knowledgeable, like we'll figure this out or whatever, but
kind
still
of spacey
like, a little spaced out, a little strange like that. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of, I don't know how they do it when other Doctors change, if they try to carry over traits or they reference and then they're sort of their own thing.
Yeah, usually whenever they'll do like a big dramatic regeneration scene, usually the first full episode with that Doctor usually confused. They're trying to figure themselves out.
Gotcha.
And by second, third episode, like, okay, this is who I'm going to be as the Doctor.
Gotcha. So is it a big deal for you seeing a different?
It made me excited that they had a woman playing it, just because it's got this new.
Yeah. And
like, why not have a woman?
Yeah, if they're changing bodies or whatever, like.
Yeah. But I feel like it didn't really make too much of a difference. Like, it was cool. Yeah. But like, oh, it's just the Doctor. The Doctor's doing things.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, imagine it's a big, maybe for people who've been watching it for a really long time, and I'm just guessing, that's from an era where you only really had male leads and everything. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know, I don't know when the original, but I don't know, we've had other leads. There's like, I guess since the reboot, we've had plenty. Like, the reboot was what, how long ago?
Sometime 2000s.
So that's like after Buffy, after other things that have had.
Yeah, she is the 14th Doctor.
Total or a reboot?
Total.
Cool.
I think, or she's 13. 13/14. Yeah, there's a whole story about this other Doctor who doesn't really get a number. So.
Oh, do they make a big deal about the person's body in the other series, like when they're getting used to it, or is it just sort of like, we're gonna move on? I have a new body, whatever.
They make references.
Like, I'm taller than normal or whatever. Like I used to be whatever. Like,
they'll
I'm
make
sure
little
they
references
do.
here.
So
like one of them like starts saying, "Oh, new teeth." That's weird. And like they make little references.
So I guess we can watch to see. I'm sure they're very conscious of this, but if they just sort of keep the same level, or if they make it a big deal themselves in the show.
Yeah, I like that they downplayed it, because like they did a whole like.
They had the Doctor recognizing that she's a woman now. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I also like that it's been a long time since I shop for women's clothes, meaning like been a woman before at some point.
Yeah. Or is this buying women clothes?
Or buying women's clothes or whatever. Like, I'm just assuming some sort of timeless individual has been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
Whatever. And like the however many doctors we've seen, I'm assuming it wasn't like the birth of the Doctor the first season. It was just like in media res or whatever. Like, I've been doing this a long time.
The original Doctor was an old man.
Yeah. So. Well, cool. Well, I look forward to. Well, they're all in space, so I'm assuming the TARDIS is going to show up, or they're going to teleport or something into the TARDIS or whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the space things because like Earth, that was cool. Like the story was fine. It's sort of like it's more an introduction to the Doctor and the character, like the monster of the week, like the Predator that keeps these. Like, it's kind of whatever. Yeah. But as an introduction to the character, like that's fine. But I'm excited to see them in space and go on, like big adventures and stuff.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that's what I like sci-fi for. The space and the adventures.
Yeah. The sci-fi part of it.
The sci-fi part of it, yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to add before we go?
No, I think it's good.
Cool. Did you like the companions?
Yeah, I did. I thought they looked cool. And I like that it's not an immediate... or I don't know. It's just interesting group. Mm-hmm. Interesting that they included the step-grandfather.
Yeah.
Just because, I don't know. I was just assuming. I mean, I've seen them before where it's just like one person or sometimes two. Like, that's the thing I'm not really familiar with in the show. Yeah. So I was like, oh, it's going to be these two young people or whatever. Yeah.
Most of the time it's been one person. There was a couple seasons where there were two, but then we went back to one.
So now there's three? Or at least at the moment. They might send one of them back.
I kind of like all of them.
So it's interesting. Little team.
Yeah. I like to see how their dynamics play out. Yeah. Right, so shall we do this again next week?
Next week, we'll see if they get out of space and whose blood boils, whose doesn't.
Yeah, very short season. Yeah. Next, so you see the dead bodies just floating.
Yeah, and then we continue with the Doctor, who I guess can survive that kind of thing.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see you guys next time. And thanks for watching.
Bye.